Hello. I'm enjoying a snow day, but I'm still going to read. And I have gotten into reading the book Miss Hickory. It's a favorite from my childhood, and I just vaguely remember it. So this is a nice reintroduction to this cute story about a doll made out of hickory twigs with her head is a nut. So we've gotten to the part of the story where she's gathering berries and getting used to the idea that winter is coming and she's on her own. So let's see what happens next. When she came home, Miss Hickory saw that the entire front of her house was covered by the fat, brindled haunches of Mr. T. Willard Brown. He was enjoying the sunshine that trickled down through the bare lilac bushes and waving his long tail to and fro like a banner. He was a wandering barn cat, a hunter of renown, but Miss Hickory liked him. Mr. T. Willard Brown lived a secret life closer to the ground than did Crow. He was a newsy man and willing to share his stories. "You are late this morning," she told him. "The milking was late," he explained. "I can't start the day without my regular breakfast of a dish of warm milk right from the cow." Miss Hickory set down her basket of berries, came close, and looked sharply into Mr. T. Willard Brown's green eyes. "That would have been a better story, my friend," she said, "if you had washed your face before you told it. There is a feather sticking out of your mouth." She flipped it off. "Oh, my ears and whiskers!" he exclaimed in mock chagrin. "However did I get into feathers so early in the morning? Now, if it had been tea time here at the old place, and I had dropped in and someone had urged me to take a nap on one of those soft feather pillows," he purred loudly to cover his embarrassment. "Never mind," she said. "We all know your habits, Mr. T, and I'm glad to see you this morning. Crow called a few days ago." "Don't speak of him," Mr. T. Willard Brown spat. "I wouldn't eat Crow on a wager. The last time I saw Crow, he was walking toward me and said a bad word. I spat at him. If you ate Crow occasionally, you might be a better man." That's a figure of speech. She really doesn't want him to eat the crow. "What I was about to say when you interrupted me was that Crow spoke of the family as planning to leave Hillsboro for the winter. He said that Great Granny Brown was thinking of living at the Women's City Club on Beacon Hill, Boston, and Anne was going to school there. Nothing but hearsay on his part, of course." Mr. T. Willard Brown arose, stretched, and yawned. "Not a plan, not hearsay, my love," he told Miss Hickory, "but the truth. They have gone." She listened without words, her eyes full of terror. He continued, "You ought to get about more, Miss Hickory. All summer you have stayed here under the lilacs, only going to the woods for berries, or on Sunday when Jack in the Pulpit preached. If you had gone around to the front of the house lately, you would have seen trunks coming down from the attic." "Gone!" she breathed at last. Now she knew that it was true. She would not let him see her cry. Instead, she stamped her twig feet. "It's all your fault, Mr. T. They had to leave to get away from you, scratching on doors and purring in the kitchen for milk. You are only a cat with a cat's ways. I shall tell all Hillsboro what your given name is, Tippy, because you have a white tip on your tail. Willard is for the barn where you were born. Brown is pretense. The hyphen is putting on airs. You are sly, Tippy. I always suspected it." She's so mad. He purred loudly, curling his claws and smiling. "I am so famous a mouser that my given name and my humble birth are always overlooked. If you doubt Crow and me, why not go around to the front of the house and look in? See for yourself." He walked with flowing tail toward the barn. Miss Hickory was unable to move for a space. She watched Mr. Willard T. Brown swinging his sides and disappearing at last through the wide red doors of the barn. When she walked slowly away from the lilac bush, the corncob house, her basket of berries, she skirted the garden, crossed the lawn, and came to the pink rambler rose trellis beside the front porch. Up the trellis she climbed, braving the sharp thorns, up, up, until she could peer underneath the crack of the window where the shade was not completely pulled down. Blue rocking chair stood empty and still. The fireplace was boarded. The family Bible on the center table was folded carefully in a white towel. The shining brass pendulum of the grandfather clock hung motionless, and the hands pointed to 8 o'clock. It must, by the shadow on the lawn sundial, be noon now. The old farmer's almanac that had hung on a loop of string on the wall was gone. She had been alone without knowing it for some time. She knew now that everything that Crow and Mr. T. Willard Brown had told her was true. Her head would have whirled if it could. She felt too weak to hold on to the rose trellis, but she backed slowly down. Mr. T. Willard Brown was waiting for her, having come softly around the corner of the house. Well, there you are, Miss Hickory, he purred. Two of us in the same fix. Why not come over to the barn with me? It is to be kept open all winter, and I have been offered a permanent position as head ratter. I wasn't born to live in a barn, she told him desperately. Where then? He asked. I am going home, she said. Today I shall finish my canning. Home? He smiled. Amusing that. I just passed your house, and it was occupied. You know Chipmunk, of course, who lives in the stone wall and has been so spoiled with gifts of peanuts that he expects to be supported. He has moved into your house, Miss Hickory. I should say that he is there for the winter. He was finishing his dinner when I saw him your basket of berries. Look at that cat. Oh, poor Miss Hickory. Oh, look how upset she is. So we will leave it at this spot where she has discovered that the cat and the crow are telling her the truth, and she has been abandoned for the winter. We'll see how she starts to take care of the situation next time.